We got the Crib South Florida here, Beyond Reality, working with us. And we got Coach Matt DuBuc, head coach at Cardinal Gibbons. Thanks for meeting with us, Coach DuBuc.
I appreciate you having me.
What we wanted to talk about today is we wanted to just be transparent about the recruiting process and things that are going on in South Florida. It's going to be a little bit of an eye-opening interview. Coach DuBuc's experienced state championship head coach, knows his way around recruiting, had numerous kids go Division I. Tell us a little bit about your background, Coach.
Well, you know, I went to Pompano Middle, so I'm a local guy, and then obviously Cardinal Gibbons, Texas Tech, and then played 4 years up in the CFL, and then coached 2 years at West Texas A&M, and I was also our pro liaison. So when the NFL guys came in to look at our players, I got to deal with the NFL scouts. So that kind of put me on a little bit of a track of probably what we're going to be talking about today. And then I've been the head coach here for this will be my 5th year, and I worked for Mike Morrill for I guess 14 years, played for him, and you know, Cardinal Gibbons has been so good to me, and my son is a freshman now. My wife went to school here. Her brother and I were classmates. So, you know, this place, we've been there, done that, seen this, seen that, and I'm just glad to be here to give back to our kids and do what I can do to help kids get recruited. And obviously, everybody wants a state championship. You know, what coaches get paid here in South Florida is not what it's comparable across the country, Texas, Georgia, Alabama. So we're doing it for the love of the game, but we're really doing it to help these kids get into school. And I think when you start to compromise that element, you're doing a disservice of why we're really doing what we're doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And seeing that you're from South Florida, you were a successful football player from Cardinal Gibbons, running back, wide receiver, ended up playing at the Division I level and moving on to play pro. The landscape was different when you played.
Sure was.
Expand on that a little bit. Tell everybody how things have changed tremendously, not just recruiting with college, but transfers, things of that nature.
Well, when you were in high school in the 90s, you'd have to sit out a year if you transferred, or you'd have to get a hardship waiver that you moved from outside the boundary, which probably would be, I don't know, 90 miles or another county, whatever it was. So that's very different, and I think legislation, for whatever reason, had opened the doors, you know, to best suit the kid. But I don't think the legislation really took into account what it was going to do to the high school coaches. And then, you know, even when I played, there was no 7-on-7. So now we compare 7-on-7 to this AAU basketball, where kids are getting on planes and going and missing school on a Friday, you know, and not participating in track, and not participating in wrestling, and not participating in rugby, which is a new sport now, or lacrosse, or whatever. And again, the argument will be, well, we're football players, blah, blah, blah. Every college coach that comes here asks us, what else do they do? What other sport do they play? And the first thing they really ask is, what are their grades like? So if you're getting guys coming in and they're skipping to the offer rather than doing their due diligence, you know, something doesn't smell right, obviously. And we can expand upon that. But the landscape has changed. Football, and I talked to a college coach today, football is very, very popular in Broward, Dayton, Palm Beach County. But I think around the country you're going to see the numbers dropping off. You know, is it the concussion stuff? You know, I don't know. I played this game a long time, played till I was 29. Did I have concussions? Probably, but you know, I watched the soccer game last night, saw a girl had the ball, and it looked awfully painful to me. So I think it's all relative in the grand scheme of things.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like you said, not too long ago even, before the school choice bill, kids had to sit out a year. Me being one of them as a freshman, I had to sit out a season because I transferred from Stranahan to Western. Expand on, you know, what you think should be, not the discipline, but the result of transferring from school to school on an athletic basis.
Well, the NCAA has come out with, if you have 3 transfers, you're immediately red flagged when you go to the clearinghouse. So that's, I think, the first thing that is gonna happen. You know, secondly, I can't answer that question today because nobody's following the rules. You know, I'm not going to tell you here that we haven't had a transfer, because we have. and I would be lying to you, and I'm not here to do that. Most of the kids that we've gotten have either we've gotten because a coach has been let go, or a coach has left, or the program is floundering, and they're looking for a better opportunity at a better academic school. That doesn't mean that that's for everybody, and I realize that. But when you entice kids to come to your school because of getting an offer which has no merit to it, I think that's where we're doing the disservice to the kid and the parent, to a single parent, or to a parent that's been told something that, you know, she works 9 to 5 and some guys told her, hey, I can get you 7 offers by the time school opens up on Tuesday. And she may buy into that, or he may buy into that. And once again, the true reality of the situation, and I'll get into the numbers because the numbers don't lie at the end of the day. Offers are marketing for schools, so let's acknowledge that right away. When a school makes an offer and the kid retweets it, that school is getting marketed. 600 and some odd offers from a school in Mississippi nationwide, another school in Tennessee, 597. It was on Football Scoop today. There's only 25 slots per school, and I'll expand upon that in a few moments. But you've got to be able to have enough sense, and hopefully the coach that you're playing for is doing what's right by your son, not what's doing right by him.
Absolutely, and like you said, there have been a ton of offers that have been thrown out there. Coastal Carolina offered 323 kids in a 2-week span in South Florida. Kind of crazy. A little bit different from when you played, even from when I played just back in 2013.
I remember when Ed Orgeron was at Ole Miss, and he had the iPad, and he was at practice in the spring, and he would record off his iPad. This is a while ago, or a video camera. I don't even remember what it was now. And then you get a letter in the mail saying so-and-so has been offered by Ole Miss or LSU, and it was signed by the head coach. That's how recruiting has changed, where a guy can walk in the door, you hand him a prospect sheet, and he says, well, who do you want me to offer, coach? I don't want you to offer guys that can play in your program that are going to help you all win, and then ultimately will be good student athletes at your school. But to blind offer kids because, you know, you want to talk to one kid, but the coach makes you offer 4 other kids. Again, I don't agree with it. Now, somebody across town may say I'm crazy, you know, but I don't agree with it. I think it's wrong, and I think it's a disservice. And at the end of the day, when those coaches come back to the school and they don't even see that kid, or they see a transcript, I call it fake news. That's what it is.
Going off more on that, we're seeing more and more kids being offered, like we said. As a head coach that constantly has highly recruited players, Troy Stellato being a perfect example, what's your process of weeding out real offers and fake offers?
Well, because Troy is a national recruit, you know, how is it real? Well, Dabo Sweeney was here. How is it real? Coach Kelly from Notre Dame was here. Manny Diaz was here. Jeff Collins was here. These are all head coaches. And I'm leaving out 4 or 5 other head coaches that were here. Those are real, legitimate offers that he could commit to. So let's go back to that word commitment. All right, are they committable offers or are they offers? So I offer you, but I can't commit on the spot. Then is it really an offer? But if it's a committable offer, and I say, Brian Kelly says, hey Troy, we want you to come to Notre Dame. I'm coming. Because I know what the value of Notre Dame's education is. I know what Notre Dame can do for me after football. Or Dabo Sweeney, or whomever it may be. That's when you say, okay, those are committable offers. They are going to hold a spot for me. All this other stuff is just a lot of hot air, you know, and a lot of Twitter and social media. And you know, the problem with the coaches in the county is guys like me and other coaches that don't get into all this, now our kids come up to us and say, well, so-and-so just got an offer over there. I'm better than him. How come I didn't get one? I'm 2 inches taller than him. I have to call it what it is. But at the end of the day, you know, you try to, as an adult, be as honest as you can to some kids, and you got to tell them, hey, you're not ready to be an SEC player. Now you got to get back in the weight room. You got to work. You know, you got to throw the ball. You got to do this. You got to do that. But laying in your bed at night or sitting on the couch just going through Twitter, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Look at the kid that at Ole Miss, where the kid said he was committing to Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin had no idea who he was, and the next thing you know, 2 days later, he signed with somebody else. Is that a fake offer by the other staff? I don't know. I wasn't there, but I would assume it was.
And going more on that fake offer, you see a lot of kids transfer this offseason, especially this offseason. Last year we had about 350 kids transfer in just the Tri-County area. Larry Bluestein threw that fact out, and it was a pretty eye-opening fact. But especially this offseason, you see a lot of those kids transferring to new schools and receiving offers as soon as they walk through the door. What's your advice to those kids, and what should they really be looking at?
Well, it goes back to adversity, how you handle adversity. When you and I played, the coach got mad at you, you're in the coach's doghouse, you worked your way out of the coach's doghouse. Now the kids just can walk away. The people making the rules in Tallahassee don't understand that. We've taken out the element of learning to say, let's run away from our problems and not stand fast and fix them. And that's where it becomes frustrating for guys doing it the right way. There's other schools that have gotten 20 transfers in the county. And again, what are you selling those kids to tell them to get there? If you have a great brand of football, it sells itself. If you have a great facility, it sells itself. But at the end of the day, think about the kids that are already on the team that those other 20 came into. How do they feel? What is their opinion going to be? How do you create cohesiveness in your locker room? How do you, we can all talk about the coach speak and all that other stuff. That's all lost when, if you get 3 or 4 or 5 transfers in, all right, that's just part of the world. Maybe it's an academic transfer. Maybe it is a football transfer. Maybe it's a this or a that. But there's some schools with 15, 20 transfers, and there's not just one of them. There's a few of them between Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade. And again, if you're going to live on that free agency world, I think high school coaches, they could be GMs of NFL football teams right now. The way they're having to put a board, not a depth chart, but put a transfer board out there and try to pick kids off of every board. But what I want to let you guys know, and let the people at home know this. Let's talk about the transfers, the offers. Let's say a school has 25 scholarships. This is going to be enlightening to some of you people at home that don't understand this. This is what I'm hearing from the college coaches. They're holding 2 spots. 2 spots for now, transfer portal kids. They're holding 2 or 3 spots for grad transfers. They're holding 2 or 3 spots for JUCO players. So when a school like Ole Miss comes in and offers 600 kids, think of this. Now you're down to 18. High school kids, right? 18. Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade County, they offered 300 kids. Are we the only place that plays football?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely
So
not.
do you think that they have to sign some kids out of their own state or the surrounding states or their own county or their own city?
Yeah. Most of the time you're going to stay home.
So let's call it a spade here. It's all marketing by the programs, and now it's become marketing by the high school coach, which in turn is marketing his program through the college guys to say, I can get these kids offers, but they're not real, and it's fake, and it's not cool at the end of the day when a kid looks at you in the eye and go, what happened to my Ole Miss offer? I just kind of told you that because I wanted to make you happy at the time. And again, I personally, and I'm not speaking for anybody else, I'm not going to operate that way, or else I'm not going to be in this business much longer, because it's not right. It's just not right.
It's definitely a tougher age in football, especially on the high school front.
But especially now with this portal. I mean, now their guys are holding spots for 3 spots, 4 spots on a portal kid for grad transfer kids. So the 25 number doesn't even equate to high school kids anymore. Now, there's no doubt about South Florida is rich in football talent. There's no doubt about it. We send kids in this area further and by numbers, by area more than anyone. There's no question about it. But just because you play high school football in South Florida doesn't garner you a scholarship offer or garner you anything. You still got to work. You still got to do your job in the classroom for 7 hours a day. You still got to do your job in society so that you're a good guy. And then you still got to do your job in the weight room, on the field, at practice. And then you got to play in the game. And you got to do a good job in the game. And let's not even talk about if you did all those things right. There's still no magic number because your measurables have to be what those particular coaches want. You can't be a 5'10 offensive lineman that weighs 215 pounds. You may be good in high school, but you're not going to Kentucky. I'm sorry, they're not going to take you. So the reality check comes into play. Now, our kids down here, because the brand of football is high, there's a place for every kid to go. But it doesn't have to be an SEC school. It doesn't have to be in an ACC school. It could be in a school at a place you've never heard of where you can get a great education and continue to play the game we all love.
Absolutely. Like you said, there are schools with anywhere from 5 to 20 kids that have transferred in, and we haven't even hit the spring yet.
No.
Do you think the governing bodies, the Broward County Athletic Association, the Florida High School Athletic Association, should step in at a certain point?
Well, they won't until the state makes a decision on that. And if the state doesn't do it, then how are they going to weaken? Let's face it, we're becoming a Power 5 football, community here. I mean, there's really 5 good teams in Broward. There's 5 good teams in Dade. There's 5 really good teams. Really good. That doesn't mean that there's not good football being played. But the way it is, the kids, the best kids are flocking to, the places where they think they're going to get recruited. But let's talk going back to recruiting. All right, so we said everything, if everything in the world lines up perfectly, let's say the O-line coach from Arizona comes to recruit my school. I give him my list of my kids. They got the GPAs. They have everything on it. I can tell him about these kids. And he's going to look at me and goes, okay, coach, I'm the line coach. I like your receiver. I'll bring him back. So he's got to get watched by the receiver coach. Then the receiver coach says, check, I like this kid. He's going to go down the office and he's going to say, hey, coach, to the offensive coordinator, do you mind looking at this kid? He's going to look at it. He's going to say, check, I like it. Good staffs are going to have a staff meeting. They're all going to be in a room. They're going to watch the kid again. They're going to vote that kid, whether he's an offer kid or he's not. They're going to say, okay, we like it. And then the boss, the guy that makes the $6 million a year, is going to say, check. Or he's going to say, no, there's something about him I don't like. So that whole process can happen, and it could get to the head man. Head man can shut it down. So it's not like you walk into school, wave your little fairy wand, and offer. I lost a kid. He went to another school. He got 2 offers 3 days later. I'm like, and the guy recruits our school that offered him, and he just rolled his eyes. He's like, oh, what can I tell you? I said, well, and I get it. You got to get into that school, and you got to recruit their kids too. But that's the frustrating part of it for all the coaches in Broward County that lose good players to other schools, and including. Listen, I am not sitting here saying I have not taken transfers because I would be lying to you. I have gotten some, but we don't. Our program isn't built on getting free agents. Our program's built on young kids going through. Our JV hasn't lost in 9 years.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean we're going to win another state championship. It just means that that's how we do it. And there's other schools that you can sit down here with, and he's going to tell you why the offers are good and how they make kids feel better and give them confidence and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I just choose not to operate that way. And you're asking me how I feel about it, so I'm giving you my opinion.
Absolutely. Speaking of that Wild West mentality, a lot of coaches in South Florida have discussed it, especially on social media, that if we went to the Texas model of separating private and public schools, you would change the game of transfers as well as change the game of people taking everybody's kids.
I disagree with that. In the state of Florida, we're all playing each other for the most part. But in the state of Florida, you can go anywhere. I could go play at Key West High School if they have room in the school. So to me, that's an irrelevant. That's old school thinking from 20 years ago. I don't agree with that. I like what Georgia does, where you got to sit out the first 3 games. If you really are committed and you really want to go to that school, you got to give something up. And what are we going to give up? We're going to give up the first 3 games. But that hurts the kid too. But I think it would slow down the transferring at a whim or being talked into something that maybe not necessarily thought through. Or running away from a problem or a coach or being coached hard when that's our job. Our job is to teach discipline. And when some of these kids feel like, hey, this guy's too hard on me, I can go somewhere else and I don't have to listen to that. And there's truth to that too. It's not a perfect system. I'm not saying I have all the answers. All I'm saying is us, all the coaches, could get together and figure this out if they'll let us. But pay these guys some more money. Give us an opportunity to build after-school programs and do things for the kids that they'll want to stay at a school. Sink some money into the facilities that they'll want to stay. But until they do that, kids are going to go into that Power 5 mentality. Or let me go to that school that has the best facility. Let me go to that school that's on TV. Let me go to that school that travels. And we're all of those here. We do them all because I'm trying to keep up with the Joneses too. I'm in a time here where I love coaching football. I love calling the offense. I love putting points on the board. I love what we do. I don't want that to go away, and I need good players to do that.
Going back on what you just said, where there could be a coalition of coaches of sort, do you think that would solve a lot of the issues? And what do you think it would take to bring all the coaches in South Florida, Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach to the table, especially the main coaches? Like you said, there's the Power 5 coaches. It seems like there's a little bit of conflict, I guess you could say, between the Power 5. What do you think it would take to bring everyone together to kind of smooth things out?
I don't have that answer. I don't. I don't know how it would work out. I just think at this point in time, I don't think coaches get along anymore. I don't think there's much of a fraternity of coaches. I have about 5 or 6 Broward County coaches that I'm friends with. Outside of that, I respect guys. I respect the job they do, but they're not guys that I share the same philosophies with, and I don't know if that'll ever be hammered out. Well, like I said, give the public schools that are struggling, help them out, financially, get them better facilities. And again, you said something about private schools. Arguably, private schools educationally have been a little bit better. Like, I can't take every kid that wants to come to Cardinal Gibbons. I can't. You know why? Because we have an academic standard. So I don't get the same kids that other coaches get. Now somebody would say, well, you're getting better kids then. Well, that's arguable. Anybody can argue that. We try to vet the kids the best we can because we want the right kids in our program. And I still lose some of the kids that I think I'm right on, but that's part of it. That's why the transfer portal opened up in college football. So I don't think it's ever going to be right, but I definitely think it can be better. And I think, the whole theory is there's honor among thieves. There is none right now, and I'm not going to sit here and tell anybody that I'm perfect, because I'm not, I'm sure there's somebody when they watch this video hates me, and that's okay. I'm over it. But when I leave here tonight after I talk to you guys, I know all these kids in my locker room, they know what I stand for and what our school stands for and what we're going to continue to stand for, and that's telling the truth.
One last question, Coach, and I don't want to get you out of here, but obviously there is no honor amongst thieves, like you said. There's been talk of maybe mirroring what college football has been doing, maybe opening a transfer portal for high school football in general. Do you think that could be a possible solution to make things transparent and make things easier for transition? If a kid wants to leave, he puts himself in the portal. Makes it so that you don't really have to worry about losing your guys because you know who's going to be in the building.
Well, listen, we all take high school football really serious, obviously, or we wouldn't be sitting here. The people that are going to watch this all take it pretty serious. But let's put it in perspective. What are we here to do? We're here to educate kids. We're here to be the best role models we can be. We're here to, when they leave here and they come back, they say, boy, the lessons you taught me have carried over. Now, you can't reach every kid, but you try. So if the money that the colleges were making, I would agree with that. But let's put it in perspective. We are here to help put kids in college. Okay? We're here to make them better people. We're here to be their dad or their mom if they don't have one. But to sit here and have to lie to kids to get them to my school so I can do that is what I disagree with. And so let's go back to this, and I'll end with this. Education, number one. But I can't educate you if every time it doesn't go your way, you go to another school. Or there's 3 quarterbacks and we throw the ball, okay? I lose more quarterbacks than anybody. But I can put up my record against anybody when it comes to throwing the ball. Mike Leach, back in his years at Texas Tech, every year was a 5th-year senior. His last 6 years at Texas Tech, it was a 5th-year senior, 1-year starter. The kids stayed. They knew the system. They stayed in the program, and not only did they stay, they surpassed the guy in front of them, or that they took over for, because they knew the system. And that's kind of the way I think about it. I think, just earn your stripes, Get through the tough times. It's going to get better. And if you're that good, you're going to find a place to play. And we're going to help you do it. But, again, when I see a turnover in coaches at one particular school, I can't blame the kid for that. He's looking for a foundation, a home. So there are circumstances out there in the transfer world. But I just think over time, something needs to be done, obviously. But will it get done? I don't know. I hope it gets done, but I need to stay off of social media, I guess.
Well, listen, Coach, I appreciate you talking with us today. I just want to congratulate you on the success that you've had at Cardinal Gibbons.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you guys compete for the 4A state championship this season.
I appreciate you. You do a great job. Obviously, you and Larry and some other guys in the area, they've made high school football what it is right now, and it's strong down here, and we want to keep it that way. But without you guys doing what you do, then it wouldn't be as fun on Friday nights. And our place, I'll tell you what, on Friday night is one of the best atmosphere for high school football, what it's supposed to be. And I enjoy it, and I hope I can stay here for a lot longer and continue to do what I do.
All right, Coach.
Appreciate
it this year.
Thank you.